Let's move on, because you also said something.
I know, and I've answered you. I've answered you that I'm
that's
not
why I want to move on.
Fair Housing Act.
Got it. Fox Business Network on January 22nd, 2010. You talk about government regulations and what you think should happen with government regulations. Take a look.
Get rid of regulations, get the EPA out of our coal business down here, get OSHA out of our small businesses. We need to restrain government to let small businesses and businessmen and women create jobs.
So I want to see how far you would push that belief. You know, the front page of USA Today this morning, we've been talking about it. EPA tells BP to use less toxic chemicals. Do you believe the EPA should not be allowed to tell oil companies they can't use certain chemicals to enforce safety regulations on that rig out there?
No, what I was referring to with the EPA is I find it particularly galling that the EPA puts out a press release and says that if Congress doesn't do anything about greenhouse emissions, that they will. I think that's a regulatory commission run amok, and I think we need to have congressional oversight. I don't think regulatory agencies should write regulations without approval of the people through their representatives. And I stick to that, and that's absolutely my point of view.
But you don't want to get rid of the EPA?
No, the thing is that, you know, the drilling right now and the problem we're having now is in international waters, and I think there needs to be regulation of that, and always has been. I think there are hundreds of pages of regulation. What I don't like from the president's administration is this sort of, you know, I'll put my boot heel on the throat of BP. I think that sounds really un-American in his criticism of business. I've heard nothing from BP about not paying for the spill. And I think it's part of this sort of blame game society in the sense that it's always got to be someone's fault, and instead of the fact that maybe sometimes accidents happen. I mean, we had a mining accident that was very tragic, and I've met a lot of these miners and their families. They're very brave people to do a dangerous job, but then we come in and it's always someone's fault. Maybe sometimes accidents happen.
So you believe that the regulation of BP was adequate?
I don't know exactly what the regulation of BP is. I think there's hundreds of pages of regulation of drilling in the ocean, and I think most of that's justified. I think we'll have to figure out from this accident, is there anything that could have been done to prevent it? What can we do in the future to make sure that it doesn't happen again? So I think we use logic, we use objective facts, and we try to go forward, and nobody wants this to happen. I love the beautiful beaches down in the panhandle of Florida, and nobody wants to see oil washing up on those white sand beaches.